how do I know if my messaging is working? How do I know if my content that I'm putting out there is really doing a great job of attracting quality leads? This is a question that I get asked often, and the answer is actually going to surprise you because I'm going to go in a very different way in answering the question so that you have clarity around what type of content to create. But more than that, how to approach content creation as a high ticket coach who is really looking to bring in more clients that are ready to change their lives and do incredible things thanks to the work that you do. So I often come across this question when I talk to my clients and when I talk to people in general. And I think that it's pretty interesting really thinking about how to approach content creation, because we all understand that content creation is a fundamental piece of the puzzle, especially in the work that we live in, the world that we live in, right? This is really important, getting out there, showing our clients or our audience that we are able to solve the problem that they have, that we can give them value, that we have the antidote to their problem, that what we do is the thing that they need to have right now. We know that content creation is fundamental for our success, yet I feel like a lot of people approach content creation from a very transactional perspective. And in theory, this makes sense. It's logical. I'm creating content. I should create or have a pretty clear return on investment on my time. I agree with that to an extent. But also, messaging is very strange and unique, and it's almost like this live being in a way. So what I mean with that is that with messaging, you really want to find ways to figure out or discover your true voice. And what I feel like oftentimes people do is that they approach content creation and messaging and posting on social media from an extremely like black and white perspective. I'm creating this and I want that. And if it doesn't work immediately, if it doesn't work tomorrow and as fast as possible, it means that it didn't work. And I don't feel like that's how life works. I think that this really instant gratification approach to content creation and to messaging and to the work that we're doing is oftentimes causing a lot of problems, because you have to really be willing to uncover what you're here to say, to get your message out there, to get excited about creating, to get excited about the things that you're sharing, and not to constantly depend on external validation for results. Now, the thing, or for you to respond basically. Now, the thing is that there's a thin line, right? There's a thin line between me saying, hey, my friend, you have to really, shift gears and try a different thing with your messaging because clearly this isn't working, versus me saying, hey, my friend, you need to double down and get more powerful within what you're doing and really connect to their message and stay focused so that it brings you the right people, right? Where do I go? Where do we draw the line? It is such a tricky question to really answer effectively and for us to really know what to do. But I think it comes down to heart, to really understanding and getting honest with ourselves and saying, well, do I feel like my message represents me? Do I feel like what the things that I'm saying or what I'm doing right now are things that are really sharing the message that I'm here to share, the thing that really matters to me, what I really want to be known for? Oftentimes, what I feel happens is that people approach content creation with like a very what's the template? What's the exact formula? What's the exact thing? How do I get a client? Versus here's what I have to say. Here's what I have to share. This is what really matters to me. Get on board with me because I have so much unwavering certainty in my message that I will do whatever it takes and I will come on here as long as it takes for you to understand what I'm trying to tell you, right? It's such a different approach. And for me, I feel like I spent a lot of times finding the formula and trying to get it right. And it wasn't until I really, really was able to just double down on, well, what do I really want to say? What is the thing that really matters? And how is it different? How am I different? How is this work that I'm doing something that really matters to me? That's when things changed for me. That's when I started creating content that moved people, that would activate buyers, that would get people to feel like I really want that. I have a saying in my business, something that I teach my clients, and it's to become the Sally. And it's a reference to from When Harry Met Sally movie. I know that some of you guys are too young for that, but it's getting people to feel like, I want what he's having. I want what she's having. I want what you're having. And so the way that we get there is by really getting passionate about our message and figuring out, well, how do I get better at saying the things that matter to me? How do I really communicate this value? How do I get people to really connect with the things that are important to me, the things that should be important to them, the things that are going to actually solve their problem? I feel like that is a crucial part of that equation. But we're so focused on the formula, and we're so focused on the instant gratification, the millionaire by Monday status, the clients that are immediately coming in, the instant ROI, that we lose our voice in the process. And that's where this becomes a true problem. Because if you don't have a voice, and when you don't have something that really matters to you, when you don't have something that is important, that is meaningful, that is going to connect with your people, that's when people just keep scrolling. Their energy isn't the same. The things that come through aren't the same. So I have a client, which I will bring on soon to the podcast to interview her, because I really want her to share the story, that I love using as an example, because when we started working together a few months ago, she started creating daily videos on her Instagram. Now, for you, you might not be into Instagram, you might be into LinkedIn or Facebook or TikTok or YouTube, whatever your thing is. But for her, she was doing daily videos on Instagram. And it was her finding her voice, right? Not getting a lot of views, not getting a lot of engagement in the beginning, not getting a lot of likes, barely had any followers, but she kept on showing up and she kept on refining her message. And every single call that we had, every single week through our coaching process, she got deeper and deeper into understanding, well, what do I want to say? And how do I want to say it? Let me create a video about this. Let me create content. And what ended up happening is she had a video or several videos go super viral. She grew by over like 30 something thousand followers in about a week because of that. And these were people that were really in her niche, very specific types of audiences and clients. Like her people was able to sign a bunch of clients from that and has kept on growing her business. Now, imagine if this person would have spent a week creating content and felt like, well, that didn't work. Nobody's paying attention. This is clearly not working. I'm going to quit, right? She wouldn't be where she is. And I can tell you that for me, that's exactly what it has been like. My success in my own business has come from me consistently searching for, how do I communicate my value? How do I speak to my people? How do I connect better? How do I really convey the power behind the work that I'm doing? How do I get this across in a way that feels powerful for my audience? That is what you need to be looking for. If I would have quit the first webinar that I did, where I had maybe 3 people show up, none of them ever bought or booked a call or anything. If I would have quit then, you wouldn't be here right now listening to me or watching me. So I think that it's really important for you to come into that sense of, okay, I know that there's a point of not quitting, but refining that message, right? Like really going deep. And I get that there has to be an ROI to the work that I'm doing. I understand that. This is why I feel like for most people, it's about figuring out, well, what would I do even if it took me a year to get a client? Even if it took me a year. And I'm not saying go do that because, that's the most effective strategy. That's not what I mean. What I mean with this is where would you show up passionately no matter what, because you have a powerful message to share, that you would be like, I'm going to keep on showing up because I need to get this message across, and this is my place to do it, and I'm going to go all in with it no matter how long it takes, right? Obviously, there's ways of refining your message, of getting better at it, of making sure that you're speaking to the right people, of making sure that what you do feels like a need to have for your audience. All of the different things. Yes, go for that 1,000%. But also what I'm getting at is really being able to feel connected with your message so that it doesn't feel like it's a burden for you to create content, but it feels like I have to get this out there. This is what I'm here to share. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about that and reframing how you view content creation and showing up from a place of, I want my message to come across so that I get in front of the right people. I do have a training where I go very deep into how to turn your message into a need to have for your audience. You'll find the link for that below this episode with all of the details for that. And also we can hop on a free 15-minute assessment where I will personally take a look at your messaging, your content creation, what you're doing, and give you a little bit of insight into what I believe is missing from you really being able to get in front of your people and get your people to really understand why you're here to give them value, why what you do is so valuable, and why what you do is exactly what they need. You can go to brandmessagesession.com for that. Let me know in the comments if this resonated with you, and make sure you follow and subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere else at Fabi Paolini. I will see you next week.